Ahsoka Episode 7, the one where I'm really glad it was set in a galaxy far, far away, because if it wasn't, I'd leave mine. Now, if we can only get the writers to go there as well, we'll all be a lot better off. We start with the General being held accountable for her own actions. As you can imagine, this is a surprise because it's never happened before.
Cannot allow a general to go around acting like this is still a rebellion.
Hang on, why did you allow it to happen in the rebellion? You gave her a direct order and she broke it. Why did you ever allow that? Even if it's a rebellion, it's a military campaign. She should have been stripped of her rank right there.
This is a government.
Alright, mate, no need to harm your own argument. I was on your side, you're not doing me any favours.
And it has rules and laws which General Syndulla seems to have no problem bending to fit her personal agenda.
Well, now you're just describing someone in government. He's basically said you can't do that in your position and then explained how she got into her position.
My job is to protect the people of this republic.
No, you're a general. Your job is to follow the chain of command.
And that is exactly what I was doing, in the best way I know how.
That's not a defense. You've been wearing headphones for most of the series. We've only just seen your ears and now I can see him. I can understand why you covered them up. But I was doing the best thing I knew isn't a defense. Because you have the IQ of a Hollywood writer. Literally. You don't know how to do anything properly.
And you protected the New Republic by ignoring direct orders.
No, I protected the New Republic by ignoring you.
So that's a yes. He gave you an order.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
Also, it wasn't even him. The entire council voted that you were an idiot and shouldn't be allowed to do anything because you'll make the situation worse. And I know they're gonna go, oh, well, he's evil, and that means she was right all along. But even if he's like an Empire double agent at this point, she's still incorrect. She's not saying anything because she thinks he's a double agent. She's just saying it because she's an arse.
Senator Ziono.
Senator Ziono, I also agreed with him, as did the rest of this council that you've just insulted. We're now going to defenestrate you. Goodbye. We're actually going to eject you into a sun. You're green. Maybe you could survive by photosynthesis on the way out.
By ignoring you.
Even the fish guy's like, oh, burn! Doesn't realize she's just insulted him as well. This entire council is so thick, they don't realize, well, I voted for that and it was my order, she's just disobeyed. You have to remember, for us, there are several weeks have passed since we've seen that episode. For the writers, they probably bang out one of these episodes in an afternoon. I forgot what I wrote yesterday.
Words that when you look at them on Tuesday are not as bad as you remember them being on Monday afternoon.
But he starts reading out a report of what she's sounding on. This is just fantasy. It's so stupid, this couldn't exist. And to be fair, I agree with him.
Star maps, star whales. Are we to believe any of it?
Exactly. Space whales, that's such a stupid idea. No one would be thick enough to write that. He's got a point. That's a rather unfortunate freeze frame, he says, as he turns it into a thumbnail.
Imperial remnant. Such a sensational term.
Is it accurate? Also, why are we making the bloke get sensitive about language? That would definitely be the realm of the green-haired nutjob. But this guy gets offended. Oh my god, what about happening over here? We might all die.
There is no proof.
What an excellent point. Why have you never provided any proof? You took ships to a space whale planet that had a giant ring that was going to travel to a different galaxy. You flew up to it, scanned it. Are you telling me that your ships don't have any memory banks of what you've done and seen? You have proof. Why do you keep refusing to show it to anybody? Because at this point, it looks like you don't even believe yourself. It's like the entire show is Mr. Robot and she's the only person that knows. We're all watching stuff happen and she's like, but it's just in my own dreams.
There's no proof of a greater conspiracy.
Show him some. The only proof you need is multiple people working together. Okay then, how did they build a big massive ship? That's multiple people working together. That's your proof. Show him the sensor logs.
Thus, no immediate threat to this republic.
If Thrawn returns, that will change quickly.
What happens if the Teletubbies take over Europa? Maybe if you showed him the sensor logs of the ship that could travel to Thrawn's galaxy, he might be a bit more concerned.
I don't know what frightens me more.
Your stupidity or the writers.
The possibility of what might happen or your unwillingness to see it.
See what? We can't live our entire lives on the possibility that Thrawn might maybe return one day. But if you had some evidence that people were trying to make him return, maybe we'd be concerned. The only thing any reasonable person is asking for is proof.
I'll tell you what I see.
Somebody who would get outsmarted by a pug.
I see a general who abuses her authority for personal gain.
That as well. This is the problem if you're trying to make him evil and go, oh, he's a double agent. He is right. If he is going to be evil, you really need to stop making your evil people correct on the supposed hero's arsehole.
Motion that General Syndulla be court-martialed for disobeying a direct order.
Seems fair. The only thing is said is I think she should be held accountable for her actions, and she did do that. What's the problem?
For disobeying a direct order.
Because she seems to think there's a problem. Oh, I can't believe that's happened. She disobeyed the council, now she's being held accountable. But don't worry, at that moment...
identification.
That's right, we're unboxing another toy, folks. Star Wars just feels like a toy unboxing video now. This is from IGN. Episode 5, The Empire Comes Back, along with every other character you've ever met. It's nice to have these toys, even if we don't really know what to do with them when we stick them together, so instead of unboxing them, we'll just keep them in the packaging. That's how you get...
I am C.
3PO.
Yeah, it's 3PO. They didn't even bring him back for a good reason. He's just going to lie to everybody to stop a criminal from facing justice. Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Welcome. Why are you here?
I'm here to get that stupid Bint out of trouble.
Honored Chancellor, with respect.
I'm just gonna lie to all of you. I'm gonna show you the respect that you deserve.
I am here on behalf of Senator Leia Organa.
Yeah, she couldn't even be bothered to come here and lie herself. She's off on another planet having grapes peeled to her by a second copy of me.
By all means.
And she's just in smug mode. See, what you didn't realise is my dedication to organised crime. I'll literally stand here in a court and call in favours from the corrupt Republic leaders in order to get me out of trouble for a genuine thing that I did. Isn't it wonderful? I'm so proud of myself. Insufferable little twat.
By all means.
Thank you. The Honorable Senator Organa.
Yeah, she's so honourable. The first thing she did in this entire series is commit perjury. What a lovely little darling she is.
I object in the strongest terms.
So would I. She's a lying cow.
That Senator Organa personally sanctioned General Syndulla's reconnaissance.
No, she didn't. Now they both need to be court-martialed or defenestrated. I'll take either, although I do have a preference.
Cannot admit evidence of this kind from a mere droid.
You can perk down, you little trash can. No one gives a crap about your opinion. Come back to me when you can speak English. Supposed to believe he's an independent, sentient creature, but can't afford to connect to a better Bluetooth speaker. Oh yeah, calm down, mate. Someone hold him back. He's about to kick off and take down the entire court. He doesn't have any weapons, but he can throw a mean tracking beacon.
Senator Organa is willing to overlook this misstep.
The sheer gall. I'm here lying to you and committing perjury, but I'm willing to overlook the fact that you didn't foresee I was corrupt enough to do it. At this point, the only thing they should be doing is sending squads to take her out.
To address any further concerns to her directly in
They certainly would, via an armed squad.
her role as leader of the Defense Council.
She's immediately stripped of that as well for committing perjury.
Well,
Well, that was a pile of bonkum, wasn't it?
that seems to settle the matter.
All it takes is a body type 1 to lie, and we're just all gonna get behind it. Boggers.
Unless you remain unsatisfied.
We all remain unsatisfied. We're watching Ahsoka. What did you think was gonna happen?
No, just...
So there we have it. All the body type 1s get together and they lie in order to take down a man. Never seen that before. It's such a unique story. I'm surprised you even managed to think of it for Star Wars.
Court dismissed.
And somebody put that plant in the middle in some soil. Yeah, you love the one with the tentacles.
Mere droid.
That's true. He's no mere droid. He's owned by one of the most corrupt officials in the entire Republic now.
Thanks, 3PO.
Well, it is my programming.
I was programmed to be a corrupt, lying criminal. Can't remember that in the prequels. Maybe it's because I haven't watched Rebels, who knows?
It's my pleasure to be of service, General
I get so much pleasure out of my criminal enterprises. What are you even writing here?
General Syndulla, might I have a word?
Because I'm pretty sure I should be throwing you out of that window over there.
I don't know what you and Leia are playing at, but I know she did not authorize your mission.
Great. Now we've proved that the Republic deserves to fail, as their own leader is also corrupt.
She did, eventually.
And now she's got proof. The only thing she should do right now is turn around, walk back up there, and she's just admitted to me. Somebody open a window, we're going to work out whether she could fly.
How real is the threat of Thrawn's return?
Well, there's only 2 episodes left, so at this point, I'd say not that likely. If anything, it looks like he's going to return, and then you just get the credits. Quite frankly, Thrawn returning isn't that intimidating.
We have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
So in other words, you have absolutely no idea. I've just committed criminal perjury, even though I don't know what's going on. You are making an incredible argument for that bloke to be the only person on the council. At least then she would have faced justice, photosynthesizing in space. Even the credits agree. Dreams and madness, like listening to that green thing over there. But we're back with space whales, and Ahsoka is fighting the air. After seeing a fight, I'm not surprised that she wants to actually beat an opponent for once. Also, that isn't a rare pause face. She does it all the time. I'm gonna look as evil as possible. And while she's training, we've got Anakin going, I believe in you. All you have to do is train, and you can be anything you want to be. It's also really badly de-aged to the point where he looks like Odo from Deep Space Nine.
My responsibility to prepare you, practice these forms often, or at least more than I do.
And try not to turn evil and murder a load of kids. If that wasn't in his training videos, I feel like it should be.
Remember what I taught you and trust your instincts.
It is interesting that when she trains, she moves at the exact same speed as when she fights. Would have been so much better if she'd just gone, oh no! I missed! Then again, it's only getting stabbed in the stomach by 2 lightsabers. She would have been fine. Just put her in a back to tank or something. Stick her in bed for a couple of days.
He was a good master.
Till he started slaughtering all of his friends. I just feel like we need some kind of caveat to that statement. Then again, she did say was.
I think the whales may be reaching the end of their journey.
What makes you think that?
Well, our whale has started to bang the one next to him. We thought we were going to another galaxy. Actually, it's just mating season. I'm not sure we'll make it out alive.
According to my instruments, their speed is decreasing.
Well, that's unfortunate. Maybe he's finished. I don't know why she looks so happy about it. But she says when we arrived, we got to find Sabine. He's like, we don't even know where she is. We're in a different galaxy. If we're not at the right planet, we don't even know how to jump anywhere. We don't have the maps.
If we had indeed traveled to another galaxy, our star charts will be useless.
She came here with the enemy.
I'm not sure why that's a rebuttal to his point.
We find the enemy, and we find Sabine.
How are you going to find the enemy? We can't find Sabine because of all these problems. Finding the enemy has all of the same problems. Is that why you want a 20-person writer's room? Because if all of you put your heads together, you might be able to gather a brain cell. Look, if there's 20 of us, one person might find the mistakes.
Direct and to the point, as always.
And wrong. Don't forget the you're talking out your arse, love, part of the equation.
Well, that's my style.
At least we can agree on something.
You are assuming the star whales have brought us to the correct galaxy.
And the correct planet, because you can't jump to a different one because your star charts don't work.
System, or even the same planet.
Excellent point, well made. Why did you just say she'd made one before when you knew she was talking out the back end of a space whale?
I think the odds are pretty good.
Oh, well, as long as you just assume and hope, then I guess we're all in for a good time. She's the kind of person who goes to Vegas with her life savings and goes, stand back, lads, I've seen this done.
No, in fact, they're terrible. Astronomically terrible.
Have you ever noticed how it's always the men making sense in this show? In fact, it's been so bad throughout the entire series, I can only assume Filoni's a bigot. I mean, you could at least write one of them as a character that's actually nice and correct occasionally.
Well, you should have said something.
I did, but you never...
Because it certainly ain't pissing Ahsoka. She's just like, I've got us all killed and I'm proud about it. What a horrific character.
I hope you are right.
I know you do.
Because if I'm wrong, we're all dead, and that's hilarious. I mean, it would be for me, but that's not what the show is actually meant to be saying. But at that point, something's gone awry. That's her awry face. Because they exit hyperspace, and suddenly, everything goes horribly wrong. Because we see the whales just flying along. For some reason, they don't stop. They are in a safe area. They could stop. Instead, fire keeps appearing in front of the whales' teeth. They're swerving all over the place, and they decide to leave the whale's mouth. I'm not really sure why, because they don't actually do anything. But they fly outside to see explosions everywhere. It turns out they're in a minefield. And the whales just keep flying into it. Are you telling me the whales came out of hyperspace, saw whatever they are, thought, we're just gonna fly into it anyway, then flew into it, had all of the explosions hit them in the face, and thought, we're not going to go back. We're not going to stop. No, the only way is through. I know this is a graveyard, but you didn't have to make them so desperate to get there. So they just keep flying through the minefield rather than stopping and going backwards. Even a pug would be clever enough to back away from something that was hurting it. And yet they're just like, oh, let's fly into explosions. And this minefield was specifically created to kill all of the space whales with extreme prejudice. Remember from the previous episode?
If a star whale approaches Peridia, destroy it with prejudice.
Okay, so why did you lay a minefield that doesn't seem to be actually destroying any of them? And if you want to know the worst thing about this entire debacle... as the whales are just getting constantly bombarded with explosions by weapons intended to kill them, Ahsoka and the droid say this.
At least the whales are providing some cover.
You sick and twisted monster. All of these space whales brought you across the galaxy to save your friend. And when they start to die on the other end, he's just like, well, rather them than me. This is the statement of an evil character. Yeah, I mean, we could have stopped and gone back, but instead we decided to fly through it for a bit and then jump away. Okay, whatever. I am surprised that a creature that's so big is also so stupid, but here we are.
You had to say something.
Ahsoka is now also demonstrably evil. Well, I'm glad these whales are dying and not us. The whales jump away to save themselves, thinking, haha, you're on your own. And she's like, oh yeah, you had to say it. You had to make the whales not suffer and die for my miserable life.
I was being optimistic.
That's optimistic, is it? I hope all these whales get subjected to immense agony just so my flying is a little bit easier to do. That's optimism now, is it? Hollywood morality, everybody. So the whales jump away, and let's face it, at this point, Ahsoka deserves it, and now they've got to fly through the minefield on their own. They could stop. They're in a ship that could stop, turn around, and go backwards through the massive gaping space in the minefield that the whales have already created for them, and then just fly around the minefield. That is an option. Minefields are not infinite. You could go around them. In fact, they even said it's only at the arrival zone, so it's not even going to be very big. But we keep flying through the mines. For some reason, this minefield that was designed to kill whales has neither killed a whale or blown up any ship.
We are almost through.
Yeah, the question is how and why. What's the point of a minefield if it doesn't do anything to anything? You see the mines even move to the ship, but they just miss. You need to immediately fire all of your engineers. But then they get clear of the minefield and see the Eye of Sauron. At this point, you would assume that thing would start shooting at them. I mean, we've already proven that it can't even take out the ship when it flies at it. But I mean, come on, it's worth a try. It might as well do something.
Well, we found the enemy.
Of course, it doesn't start shooting at them. No, instead, it sends 9 fighters after them. You know these fighters? These are the same ones that even when they shoot you, they don't do any damage. We already saw they don't do any damage in a previous episode, so in this one, you're supposed to be tense when they do the same thing that failed last time. Don't worry, we just assumed you weren't paying attention last time, and so this will all be new to you. So to avoid the fighters that don't do any damage, they're going to fly into the bones.
I'm going to make for the debris field.
I would not recommend that.
If it's dangerous, I'm all for it. Cover her eyes, mate. Make her do it blindfolded and say it's a test of the Force. It'll be hilarious.
Come on, where's that optimism?
His optimism only applies when he's other people suffering and not himself. He was only optimistic that they'd all be in immense agony and die, because he's one of the good guys in Ahsoka. So they fly directly into the bones of all the whales. They tried to use live ones as cover first, and now they're using their corpses. What a nice group of people these are. And of course, all the ships are shooting them, but their weapons don't do any damage. We've already established this earlier in the series. As such, there is absolutely zero tension during this entire scene, because we know if that gets hit, nothing will happen. Plot twist. It's not a twist. Nothing happens. That ship gets shot for the rest of the episode. Nothing happens. They don't even have a tail gunner. I don't know why Ahsoka's doing the overacting. We all know the lasers don't damage your ship.
I can't find an opening. The field is too dense.
He must be trying to fly into Sabine's face. The densest thing in the universe. But they fly into the whale bones. There's like all this fog around it. I don't know where that came from. Is it supposed to be minute bits of bone from all smacking together that definitely wouldn't have dispersed into space? Either way, it means that they can't see. So Ahsoka is presumably flying with the Force.
There is nothing on the scope.
Or between your ears. Some ships make it through the field, whereas others just smash straight into the bones. I mean, that's got a sting, but to be fair, you did see the ship before you turn. You decided not to. Back now to the capital ship getting impregnated by a mountain, and we've got the person we're all supposed to be afraid of, who, well, he's just not intimidating, is he, really? He gets told that a Jedi shuttle has returned, along with a load of space whales.
It would seem Ahsoka Tano is alive and well after all.
Why didn't you ask why the minefield didn't damage any of the whales? I told you, love, to set up a minefield to kill the whales. Why have you failed me? He doesn't care about failure, this guy. I think he's just used to failing constantly. He's basically the worst general in the Star Wars universe. He's succeeded at literally nothing he's tried throughout the entire season. Supposed to be really scared of him. They were like, we can't have Sabine be the worst character. Let's make Thrawn. He'll be trash as well. So he gets amazed that, oh, she was trained by Anakin. He's like, I can't believe they brought that toy back to show us. That'll be interesting for the plot, even though it serves no purpose at all. Apart from making some people's jaws gape so large they accidentally swallow their own foot.
Dangerous, which is why we must control all variables.
Yes, this is them trying to pretend that he's smart. But there is a problem with this plan. The writers aren't smart. That's why nothing that he says actually happens. And the actions that he does have nothing to do with this.
Put her on a path of her own choosing. We'll always be one step ahead of her.
Yeah, that's his plan. Let's just let her do whatever she wants. Well, what does she want to do? She wants to go after Sabine. And she is, but that's not a smart plan. Let's nuke Sabine from orbit. That's a good plan. Apart from the fact she would probably deflect the blaster bolts with a lightsaber or something.
We're going to get pulverized if we stay out here much longer.
No, we'll only get that in the inevitable Triple X parody. But they lose the fighters and decide to hide in some hollowed out bones, where they just turn off the power, sit and wait, doing absolutely nothing useful. You do realize you've got to get down to the planet, right? And no matter how long you sit here, unless you're just going to wait for them to leave, then they're going to continue watching for you, and you're still going to have to go out in front of them at some point anyway. What exactly is your plan here?
How did they anticipate our arrival?
Magic, basically. I'm not even joking, they said it was done by witchcraft. Over now to the walking crabs, and it turns out that their houses are actually all floating cars.
Get some rest.
Shouldn't you know? Are you telling me she betrayed her entire galaxy to the Sith to come to a different galaxy just to meet you and absolutely nothing happened? What was the pissing point? She voluntarily destroyed an entire galaxy. The least she could do is start trying to repopulate it.
A little. Thanks.
At least you left me alone for a little bit. And we get a waving crab. Promise it's not much.
I'm still trying to process everything you told me. The Emperor died.
That's what people say.
Piss off! The answer is yes. 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 The Emperor got defeated. You have no reason to think that the Emperor is alive. So the answer is yes. This is one of the reasons I'm saying people can't understand abstract concepts. The writer can't physically comprehend that the characters in his piece don't have the same knowledge that he does. It's that or he's just terrible at his job. Pick one.
And Hera's commanding fleet.
Yeah, it is stupid, isn't it? Why on earth would anyone allow her to lead anything? She commits perjury, she's utterly corrupt, and fails at literally everything she's ever tried to do. No wonder the Republic's crap.
You know, I was beginning to think we'd never find you.
I was hoping for it.
How did you? What? Find me.
Well, she was walking along, and then her dog licked a crab, and that crab just happened to know who you were. Or if you want to go back further, she betrayed the entire galaxy to the Sith by basically saying hundreds of billions of people can die because I want to get my end away in a different galaxy.
You never said.
It's complicated.
Not that complicated. It's just nobody should trust you as far as they can throw you, which is not very far. Which is rather unfortunate, because it'd be fun to watch you get thrown into different places.
Well, we could talk about something else, I guess.
Stargate SG-1, it'd be more interesting.
But you know, getting home is kind of important.
Well, you bang out of luck there, mate. All the whales pissed off, and the only ship going back is her mortal enemy, even though it specifically decided not to kill her when it could. At this point, your best hope of getting on that ship is their own stupidity, which admittedly is quite a good option at this point from what we've seen.
Ahsoka took me on as her apprentice.
She what? Why?
Exactly.
I mean, congratulations.
Why? You don't have any force powers, love. You can't be a Jedi apprentice. Should be the next words out of his mouth.
Go on.
No.
You don't have any force powers, love. Therefore, you can't be a Jedi or a Jedi's apprentice.
No, that's great.
It's not great. It's actually useless. More than useless. It's a waste of everybody's time.
Makes sense.
How? This is like trying to train her how to pee standing up.
Trained a little before, back when I was first learning.
Yeah, she can wave a lightsaber around a bit, mate, but that's not a Jedi apprentice.
I remember.
I remember your bad storyline and how many contradictions it has.
So where is Ahsoka?
Or your force powers, which are required.
Coming?
I got her killed.
That's complicated.
No, not really. She thinks she's dead. It couldn't be less complicated. You know when I betrayed my entire galaxy to the evil guy? Well, I just watched him murder my teacher, and then I immediately betrayed everything she stood for by joining up with the guy that murdered her. I'm basically an evil cow. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
No, you're just an arse, love. This isn't difficult. But then Dumb arrives, with Dumber and cronies. In walk the three witches.
Great mothers, I'm in need of your assistance.
The new week, but he still hasn't stopped talking like Mr. T.
Wait a minute. Don't bring anyone mother into this. You putting our mothers all over the world.
But he says Ahsoka is hiding from me and I need you to find her location. So they decide to stand in a circle and use their golden balls.
Check your two balls very carefully.
To find her location. The reason why they don't define what these balls do is basically, they can do whatever we need at the given moment. We thought they just took people prisoner, but now they use those same lasers to triangulate somebody's location. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I sniff an Ahsoka in a whale graveyard. Wait, if you can just laser point to Ahsoka, why did you never do that for Ezra Miller? In the many years that you've been here. I can detect Ahsoka coming from another galaxy, but not a guy down the road. So they're just sitting there with the power off, doing absolutely nothing.
Nothing. I cannot locate Lady Wren.
Told you. But Ahsoka's like, okay, your scans don't work. I can just get in touch with her. Okay, love, well, if that worked, why did you scan at all? Just contact her then. So she closes her eyes. I'm gonna contact her through the Force. So we get the dialing tone.
Sabine.
If I was Sabine, I wouldn't pick up. We cut over to Sabine, who gets this blank expression over her face. Which is actually pretty standard for Sabine. Maybe someone's contacting her through the Force all the time. What's going on? Supposed to have been trained by a Jedi.
Ahsoka.
She even knows it's Ahsoka. Ahsoka called me. Then I said, Ahsoka! Out loud. Obviously, I know what's happening, right?
Hey, you alright?
The other guy's like, you alright? There's something weird going on. You look like your one brain cell's overheating, love. I'm worried about you. Ahsoka's like, I know where she is. But at that moment, the witches locate Ahsoka. He's like, look, something is happening to you. Are you trying to do maths in your head? I've warned you against that. Last time you didn't use a calculator, it took you out for a week.
Something happened. What was it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Ahsoka called out to me in my head, and then I said verbally, Ahsoka! I have no idea what's going on. Maybe it's tied to Ahsoka. Just a thought.
Feeling
What kind?
familiar.
It's Ahsoka. You said Ahsoka out loud. He would have heard it. Hey, love, why'd you keep saying Ahsoka? I thought you murdered her. But then something amazing happens as the Eye of Sauron starts to shoot Ahsoka. The question is, if they can do that to you, why aren't they doing that to Sabine? Couldn't escape. He's on the ground.
I know where we're going.
I don't think that's going to help, given that they're blasting you with capital lasers. But it's fine, because the lasers just don't do anything to the ship again. We fly through the debris field and out into open space. So now we have no cover from any of the bones. Now the lasers will definitely destroy the ship, right? I mean, it's an easy shot.
We're flushed out of hiding.
Okay, but you're not going to stop shooting her, right?
Shall we prepare our defenses?
Why didn't you just shoot her with the capital lasers?
No, Riatana will pursue Sabine Wren.
Why are you just assuming that she's going to escape? Shoot her! Blow her up now!
We have wisely sent far from here.
She's going to go after Sabine that we've wisely sent far from here. If you'd just taken care of her in the last episode when she had no weapons and was in your custody. We have wisely made these 3 Jedi team up together. Thrawn is the worst general I've ever seen. He might be the worst commander in Star Wars.
Contact the fighter group and have them re-engage the opponent.
Why? The fighters can't do anything to the ship because their lasers don't do enough damage. We know this. You should know this. The witch next to you should be telling you this. Our lasers can't penetrate her shields, it's useless. But then we get the snails, and they all stop because Gandalf has arrived on a hill. I've seen this bit, his army will arrive behind him in a second.
Friends of yours?
Yes, actually, they brought me to this galaxy. They're the people I traded the previous galaxy to reach you so we could get our end away.
No.
They're not your friends. Why did you betray an entire galaxy to them? But he decides to turn around and start running. Balen tells his apprentice, you need to get Thrawn to send some troops, and then you're gonna go and kill them. What are you gonna do?
You won't help?
It's a really stupid idea, isn't it?
Your ambition drives you in one direction.
Look, I don't like One Direction either, but I don't think her music tastes are a reason to ditch her when she's fighting 3 Jedi.
My path lies in another.
I can't be bothered to fight. They're like 50 meters away, love. Whatever you're planning on doing, you can just ride over there, kill them in about 10 seconds, and then leave. If you wanted him to do this, you should have just had him do it at the ship. Having him go to all the trouble of actually standing next to them only to walk off is stupid. They're like, look, they're just 100 meters away. We can literally sort this out in 3 minutes. It won't even delay you from whatever you plan to do.
I've located Ezra Bridger.
And Balen's betraying you.
One parting lesson, Shin.
I'm a lazy git.
Impatience for victory will guarantee defeat.
You're so patient for victory, you never actually initiate a fight. You're just doing now what Sabine and Ahsoka did in the forest, and that was stupid as well. The writers of this show are so awful, they're even making the same mistakes with different characters in different episodes. So the Sand People ride off. They even make the same noises as the Sand People. For some reason, they've all got spears rather than guns. And while they ride off to attack people, he just sits on a hill watching them. By the fact that if he joined them, everything would be so much faster. You know that in the final episode, we're going to find out what his actual plan is. Guarantee you it doesn't make any sense. You're going to have to explain why he couldn't be bothered to ride after somebody for 3 minutes. But either way, Elon dispatches 2 gunships to go and help them in their fight. It should be really easy. All you have to do is blast the 2 Jedi from the air. They won't be able to fight back at all.
If Lord Balen proves capable, we may yet win the day.
Foreshadowing! Oh no, but we know that Balen's actually betrayed all of them. So they all get in the gunships, and what you need to pay attention to here is the stairs. Really wobbly stairs. Honestly, it's like somebody pulled it up on a piece of string. Watch what happens when it hits the top. Like, not only does it go up at different speeds, it keeps bouncing when it's at the top. But the Sand People attack. Sabine is basically the only defender of this entire party. Unfortunately, she's a terrible shot. She's only a Mandalorian. They're renowned for being terrible shots. When you get to see 3 of her blaster shots here, just watch where they go. The first one hits the ground over here. All the enemies are at the back, and she's miles away. Her next shot goes over here, again, at the ground when they're up above it. Here's the 3rd shot. Where's this one gonna go? Oh, look, it's gonna hit the ground miles in front of them, because they're all up here. So he's like, hang on, mates. Some of my friends can help you. Hey, mate, why don't you pull out that weapon of yours? We're like, hang on, I'll just go and fetch it. Oh, that's right. I wonder if my catapult will hurt your helmet. No. The guy even looks over like, are you taking the piss?
Are you taking the piss?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they are. We promise it's not merch. Well, that's a freeze frame and a half, isn't it?
That's charming! Any real weapons?
No. For some reason, this entire species of people have just decided we don't actually need to be able to fight anything. Whenever we get attacked, we just sit on the ground.
They're peaceful people.
Peaceful people don't survive on planets, mate. They get defeated by more intelligent people.
Peaceful, fine! You didn't mention defenseless!
Weapons are of no use to you unless you're actually willing to use them and therefore not peaceful.
They survived well enough.
I'm not going to explain how they survived, I'm just going to say they do. Like, it's magic. But either way, they all very, very slowly come up on their dogs. The odd one gets taken out. And although they only have one person to take out, and then the entire place is defenseless, no one shoots her. Instead, they get their electric sticks and start stabbing random cars in the back, trying to shut down their engines. This isn't the car in which the only person defending the entire caravan is in. This is just one of the random people who is irrelevant. So that guy starts defending himself, like throwing junk at him. Here's a Westlife CD. Here's the entire DVD collection of Rebels. And there's Rings of Power for good measure. Then we see Sabine in a rather awkward position. That was 2 blaster shots. Do you want to see what she's shooting at? That's a third. How'd you miss that guy at that distance 3 times? 4th time's the charm, I guess. But then the electric stick guy finally nails the correct part. And that car crashes into the ground. It's not the car with Sabine in it. Why are we damaging other random cars with people who aren't even attacking you? Either way, he skids to a halt, and he's like, oh my god, I can't leave him! We're gonna have to go back! So you're like, okay, you're gonna do a drive-by, and as you drive by, grab the people from that car, bring them into your own, and then continue to drive. You're not just gonna stop, are you?
We can't leave him. I'm gonna circle up.
Yeah, circle up. You mean circle around and grab him on the way past, right?
Whoopa whoopa!
The Oompa Loompas aren't going to help you, mate. I don't know why you're calling them. What are they going to do? Give you a song? Either way, they all turn around, and the cars start to deploy like a shield on top of them. And he's like, no, we literally meant circle up. You know, circle the caravans. Oh, we're in a western again. Oh, Star Wars is just a space western. So we put circling the caravans into it. You do realize that the entire point of circling caravans is to make a wall, protect you from people on the outside. But every single one of these gaps needs a person in it to defend it. Otherwise, it's not an advantage.
Get inside, I'll handle it.
When you see how he handles it, you have to question his sanity. But in comes Ahsoka in her ship getting shot at by the other spaceships that can do literally no damage to her. I mean, they also can't hit her, but given we know how little damage they do, I don't know why you don't just show them hitting sometimes. Ahsoka sees the caravan and she's like, I need to get down there. These people really are the worst shots of any sci-fi series I've ever seen. Balen's still sitting on his hill doing absolutely nothing. If he'd just ridden 100 meters, the entire fight would have been over by now. And Sabine is just pointing her guns at people, not doing anything with them. I'm not joking, she's not doing anything with them. Do you want to try shooting someone, love? For some reason you've decided to stand still. You're more defenseless now than ever. Shoot them.
Who's that?
I don't think their name is important right now, mate. They're trying to kill you.
It's like you, but lacks your sense of humor.
Firstly, Sabine, you didn't have to insult her like that. Nobody wants to be like Ezra Miller. Secondly, I didn't know he had a sense of humor. You probably could have shown that in the show at some point. Thirdly, do you know, she's like you, not like us. So why are you training to be a Jedi then?
Lightsaber?
Oh, yeah.
She's got a lightsaber as well, mate. Why are we letting all these people get into position? Shoot them. Shoot them!
You better get ready.
You should be ready already. You've been in a fight for the last 10 minutes. Shoot them! You're in an armoured car with height advantage, in cover. You can see the enemies. Shoot them! I don't know why you came out the back end of a house. Looks like it just crapped you out, mate.
Lock the door.
Oh, don't let him back in. The moment you get Ezra Miller out your house, never let him back in.
We'll be fine.
It'll be a lot safer now he's not in there. But then they decide to line up in the open without any cover. And just wait. Get into position. Start shooting some people. And no, we're going to cut back over to Ahsoka's ship getting missed by everything. Don't worry, they'll hit it one day.
I have to get down there.
We cannot land while under attack.
Won't need to land.
Oh.
That was my reaction as well. Oh, for Hey! If you're thinking she's going to jump out of a plane flying at 100 miles an hour, yes, so to be fun.
Not this again.
Even the droid knows that this is a load of nonsense. Oh, it's fine, I can do anything. I'm just gonna ski down the mountain on a fallopian tube.
Just remember what happened last time.
She jumped out of a plane and that was stupid enough on its own. I don't think you need more.
You got the timing wrong?
How'd you get the timing wrong? He's just flying along the ground. You're the idiot that decides when to jump out.
And didn't I feel terrible?
No.
How can he possibly get the timing wrong? Because we see them just continue to shoot the ship and miss. Oh, it's the height of tension. As he goes down to the ground and just opens up the door.
On my mark.
Why do you need a mark? You're just jumping out of a plane as it moves.
Copy.
What mark? All he has to do is fly near the ground. Everything else is up to you, being a lunatic.
3,
Why are you giving him a countdown? What do you expect him to do?
1.
What do you expect him to do at 0? I forgot about that bit. That's actually the worst thing I could possibly have imagined. Why are we giving a countdown to turn the steps into a slope? The steps could have been a slope at all times. All she had to do is step on them. The problem with Ahsoka is if you actually think about it, it's so nonsensical, it verges on actual physical pain. But this goes about as well as you'd expect. Oh, look, I'm magic. I think that was meant to be impressive. Instead, she just happens to land on the same hill that Balen's been waiting on. Now, I thought he'd, seen the future in the Force or something, and so was waiting here specifically for it. No.
Well, no. This is a surprise.
Why are you even waiting on this hill, then? He's just been standing there, watching the battle, when he could have joined it and finished it by now. It's like, no, we had to have him sit on this random hill and do absolutely nothing just to force this battle to happen.
Didn't expect to see you again.
I don't know why. You know you didn't kill her. You attacked a lightsaber rather than her.
Disappointed?
When you're on the screen, love, always.
Disappointed?
No.
I've got low standards. So he pulls out his lightsaber and so does she.
I don't have time for this.
That I know.
If you don't have time for it, love, while you're standing there, could have walked the other way. At least seen if he was going to follow you. I mean, he can't be bothered to join the fight. If you went to the fight, he wouldn't have bothered. But he activates his lightsaber and it's like, ooh, this is my intimidating pose. And then she puts on her intimidating pose. I'm not joking. It's a T-pose. Watch me be intimidating as a spawn-in like a broken NPC. This is literally a bug in Deus Ex. You can't be intimidated by a bug, love. But after Ahsoka has got done T-posing, she decides to T-pose a bit more. Okay, now you're just really taking the piss. We are going for the ultimate T-pose here. In fact, she's verging on the Karate Kid at the moment. Funny thing is, that's the highest T this show's ever been. And then they go at it, just not like Sabine and Ezra. During all of this time, those two have just been sitting there while the enemy walk up to them in the... She can see him. Shoot him with your blaster, you dumb cow.
What's the plan?
I don't know, but maybe you might want to consider shooting the people you can see in the face.
Here. Do your thing.
That's a good plan. There's absolutely no reason that you wouldn't engage in this plan, Mr. I'm a Jedi.
What thing?
The lightsaber thing?
It's your lightsaber. Take it.
Yeah, there's no reason not to take your lightsaber.
You keep it.
What?
She can't even use the Force, mate.
I don't need it.
What do you mean you don't need it? You need a weapon, you don't have a weapon.
Besides, you've been training.
It doesn't matter how long she's been training, you don't have a weapon, she's got weapons.
Very funny.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I know you're serious. The question is, why are you serious? Why are you acting like a toddler?
I gave it to you. It's yours now.
Just turn it on and wave it across his face. It'll solve all of our problems.
At least take a blaster.
No.
I give up. I give up with all of you. Republic people, we've got another guy for you to eject into the sun to see if he can photosynthesize.
The Force is my ally.
The Force was all the Jedi's ally as well. They still used lightsabers, you petulant child.
That's all I need.
It isn't though, is it? Because the lightsaber is at least in theory supposed to kill people. But then they attack and we get a load of absolute nonsense. Oh look, I'm gonna be John Wick with my fingers. Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't have a lightsaber as you sweep one's legs out from under him. He definitely won't get up and shoot you in the face. So she starts blasting people, only to get hit in the back. Which was lucky, because that guy only missed her because she got hit in the back. He decides to go around trying to wrestle people. This would have been far easier just with a lightsaber. Imagine how easy that would have been with a lightsaber. And he's dead. These people are going to get back up. Like that guy, he just get you, just throw you on the ground. Yeah, well, I'll just stand up again and find out. If you don't take out these people, your fight will go on forever. Then we get this weird move that I'm still not sure what happened. Like, what is happening there? She turns her back on him, so he attacks from the right rather than just hitting her in the face. And I think she's blocking him like this. You have no power here. He is stronger than her. We've already seen he can break her block whenever he wants. So her being in a really weak position with her arm like tied up next to her, he could use his entire force to move her own lightsaber into her own face. No, it's even worse. That's her left light. She's blocking him like this. You have no power or strength in this position. It's like the most awkward way she could have blocked it. She's already got a right lightsaber she could have used, which at least would be stronger in like this position. What? She moves his lightsaber up, she's got her lightsaber free, all she has to do is swing. There's no way he can block it. Or could just use my elbow and do absolutely nothing. Mind you, his lightsaber's all the way at the back, she's got two right next to him. Just do a double swing, he'll get cut into 3 pieces. Oh, you could just go and block that one. Luckily, you've still got the bottom one. What are you going to do with that one? Swing at the ground rather than him. We are lucky that you normalize IQ, so most people are at 100. Because if it was judged against this galaxy, you'd all be around 35. So the fight continues with a lot of problems. Like the last time they fought, it was way better than this. Well, he was way better than this. He even does really stupid moves like this. Just stab him in the back. Like literally, his back is wide open. You've got your stab him in the back. You've got 2 lightsabers. You've blocked one. He's got to move his lightsaber around the other. Just swing with both of them. He can't block both. He's got his back to you. The choreography. No wonder you look that angry, mate. I would be if I had to act out your role as well. He could easily win this fight. Now, there is one funny part of the show. Look, at this point, I'll take my entertainment where I can get it. Best part of the episode. So they continue to fight. He's still fighting with his hands. And I know what you're thinking. Maybe that while he's a pacifist now, he actually won't kill anybody. So he's just disabling them all for infinity. The issue is, Sabine comes, singes his hair. It was that close.
Close.
That's what I thought. But then she's attacking him with a lightsaber. He doesn't have any weapons at all. You're thinking, that lightsaber really come in handy now, wouldn't it? Why do I need a lightsaber? I don't know. Maybe it's because you need a weapon. Instead, we get whatever this nonsense is. I'm Neo, folks. I decided I didn't want the blue pill. It's really cringe. So eventually she decides to pull her lightsaber out. But don't worry, this guy doesn't need one. Can we make lightsabers any more pointless? I would love to know. But then Sabine comes along. And the best bit is, you see her run in. Like, okay, she's just gonna swing and hit the lightsaber right out of his hand. Because he's using the Force. It may fail at any time. He's actually in danger. Oh no, she's gonna spin first. Turn your back to the lightsaber first, that's important. And then, actually, from the way her blade was originally, Sabine coming in would have knocked the lightsaber into him. You would have swung the opposite way to knock it away from him. Not Sabine, though.
It's not looking good for you.
What happened? Did your career just look in the mirror? No, then 2 gunships arrive. Obviously, they're just gonna blast the Jedi from the air. Nothing they can do.
Take her now.
Why don't you? You're the one with the pissing lightsaber. What's he gonna do? That's about as much as I expected him to do without a lightsaber. There's a reason why Jedis had weapons, you useless tart. Okay, Sabine is absolutely these can just shoot her from the sky. Don't worry though, Ahsoka is still missing every opportunity to kill him. He's attacked once. Oh, he's got his back to him and his lightsaber's on the right-hand side. Luckily, she's got a lightsaber on the left. She could just swing around. Unfortunately, she's decided to attack the air in front of him rather than him.
Can't defeat me.
She certainly can't when she doesn't actually try and attack you and decides to attack the air around you instead.
I don't have to.
Because I've got plot armor and terrible writers. And that's why the ship appears behind him. You know the ship, the one with David Tennant in it that's been chased by 9 fighters this entire time. The one who doesn't have a gunner and has just been tootling along, doing absolutely nothing and having the fighters blast him from the air, but they can't damage him. What are those missiles going to do? They're standing right next to each other. If one of those missiles hits him, it's going to blow up Ahsoka as well. His best option here is to stand still. Instead, he rolls away into the blast radius of one of the missiles. This is where he was standing in the open. This is where the explosion is. And he's there. Don't worry, though. The ships are still going to continue to miss Tennant. Not a care in the world. So she rides off. God, he's like, well, at least I don't have to go through that crap anymore. Now it's time to do my mission that I should have done ages ago, but for some reason decided to stand on this hill for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Off I go. Then the aerial gunships arrive and decide to land. I'm sure they're just going to drop off the units inside and then take to the air to blast them from the sky. That'll be useful. Why are the aerial gunships still on the ground? They've got guns. Take off at them.
Watching 1 and 2 use counter and circle in tandem.
And get those aerial gunships into the air so they can shoot the Jedi from a safe distance.
We have them.
Why is my gunship standing at the back of the troops? The pilot should be flying it.
Our side is short 1 mercenary.
And it's short 2 gunships flying in the air.
Where's Balen's gone?
Where are your pissing pilots? But Sabine starts fighting, and that's a really awkward pause. Sorry, Sabine. Now, she does have a lightsaber to block this, but for some reason, I'm not going to block it with the lightsaber. I'm going to block it with my bracer instead. All this part of her arm has no armor on it. Just get the lightsaber and run it down her arm past the armor. You'll cut her off at the elbow. It'll be amazing. This guy's trying to look as intimidating as you'd expect. I'd love to be there when he was filming it, and he's there just, oh, I'm so scary. So Sabine fires a flamethrower out of her wrist as this guy pulls her towards him, and then her troops show up. Shoot them. There's loads of you. You're all around them. Shoot them. While other people are running around, you can shoot them. Okay, you're all around them by this point. Just shoot them. You're literally everywhere around them. Shoot them.
Destroy them.
Finally! Okay, so you had to wait for her to tell you to do your jobs, but okay. At least now you're going to do it.
Wait.
He's not your boss. She told you to kill them. Shoot them!
We could talk.
Shoot them!
Or we could just...
Why are all the soldiers disobeying a direct order?
Want to take us as prisoners?
I don't want you to be a prisoner. I want you to be a melted pile of plasma on the ground.
Fire!
Finally! Shoot them! You're getting attacked! You don't have much time, and 3 of you are pointing your guns at the back of their heads and they're not even paying attention. Why are you not firing? Shoot them! Why did you just start firing now? I had to wait for this other character to appear first! And then they missed. Even when they fire the first, they still miss. So then Ahsoka just utterly annihilates her without even trying, really. David Tennant's still flying around in the air, absolutely unconcerned. Oh, I've just been flying around getting shot by 9 ships for half an hour and all perfectly fine.
I hope I survived long enough to see the outcome.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Their lasers don't seem to do anything to you. So apparently Sabine just knocks over 3 different soldiers with her own arse. She's constantly getting shot and she's like, oh, I can just guard everything with my bracer. Stop looking at the guy who's just gone down next to you. Keep firing, you idiot. And at this point, he suddenly decides, oh, by the way, maybe having a weapon might be a bit nice. So he grabs the guy's gun. Start shooting people with it. So he's not against violence, he's not against weapons, and he's not against killing. Why didn't he take her lightsaber? Or, if for some reason he's like, oh, I don't want to use a lightsaber, why didn't he take one of her blasters? He's more than willing to use a blaster. Now he's just annihilating everybody. Like he suddenly realizes how useful a weapon actually is in a fight to the death. He even hits things, which is pretty rare in Star Wars. So then we find out Sabine just has rockets in her wrist. Yeah, where'd she pissing get that from? We've seen her now use a flamethrower and a rocket-propelled grenade from her wrist. That would be the same armor that she had standing next to Thrawn. I could just flamethrower Thrawn and he'd be dead and I'd save the galaxy. Can't be bothered, to be honest. I'm really glad that the writer of this show just got a pay rise. You deserve it. You need it, because I can guarantee you won't make it in any other job. Okay, there was 2 funny parts of the episode. We promise it's not much.
Almost like the Jedi of old.
Yeah, you're getting absolutely annihilated, mate. Again, not a single one of your plans has ever worked. You've always failed and lost at literally everything. You're the worst general I've ever seen. You're like Sun Tzu if somebody cut his head off.
Recall the gunships. Call off the aerial pursuit.
Why were the gunships never used in the fight? They're Jedi. Just blast them from the sky.
These are unfortunate, but acceptable losses given.
I couldn't understand why you think that losing is acceptable. I have a feeling you do it a lot.
The absence of
skill, talent, strategic thinking. Inside your head is basically just a massive absence.
Lord Balen.
Oh, sorry, he blamed it on Lord Balen, who couldn't be bothered to join the fight. Those 2 gunships would have still finished everything for you, mate.
One might even call this first match with Tano a success.
If you're a complete failure at everything you ever do in life, yes, you might try and spin it that way.
I see only our enemies reunited.
I only see Thrawn getting defeated once again. And he's like, no, I'm actually a master planner. Look, I've actually put all the cargo in the ship and now we can leave. She lost the most important thing. Time. If you'd killed Sabine, she never would have found Ezra. He'd still be just with some crab somewhere, and Ahsoka wouldn't have known where to go and would have just been in the boneyard. You still would have put all your cargo in your ship, mate. And then he walks off as if, ha-ha, I've actually won. Look, my plan was a genius. All it was useless. This is why you can't have an idiot write for a character who's supposed to be intelligent. Just comes across as thick as the writer. So all the stormtroopers retreat. Ahsoka tells the apprentice, hand over your weapon. I can save you. Nope. Of course, Sabine's like, I'm gonna shoot you in the back, till Ahsoka stops her by T-posing again, you know. It's another bug. They'll probably fix it in the next episode. When it comes on Blu-ray, she'll stop T-posing.
I thought you were dead.
I was hoping it myself.
I missed this reunion?
Yeah, I remember the reunion. Oh, it was gorgeous. How pleased she was that he gave her a free extra chicken nugget.
Wait, you thought she was dead?
I know, mate, I'm disappointed as well.
Clearly I was wrong.
Generally a pretty good bet. So then Tennant turns up, ship's completely undamaged, it's all fine. I mean, it's been getting shot by 9 fighters for like half an hour at this point.
I think I might be going home after all.
Just because Ahsoka's turned up, she doesn't even have a whale anymore. Why are you all nodding and smiling at each other? Oh, we're gonna take over Thrawn's ship and go home. What a mess that was. The general story made absolutely no sense, and she's now a corrupt criminal who committed perjury and for some reason thinks she's a good guy. We set up a minefield specifically designed to kill whales that doesn't kill whales. Lasers don't blow up ships anymore. We've got gunships that can't be bothered to fire and land on the ground for some reason, even though they're aerial combat units. A Jedi who doesn't even use a lightsaber in combat, and somebody who can't use the Force that uses a lightsaber in combat. This entire episode was a mess. The story contradicted itself, and Thrawn just loses all of the time and then desperately tries to convince his underlings that it was all part of the plan and I'm amazing. This show has some of the worst characters I've ever seen in a TV episode. They're either insufferable or trash or just lie to everybody. But at least in this episode, I was tempted to watch it with a dislocated jaw, just out of the sheer shock at what horrific mess I was watching at the time. So congratulations, Dave Filoni. You have made a masterpiece. Except the only problem is, it's a modern art masterpiece, which only has the single definition of being absolutely shit. So at least for that, I guess congratulations is in order. Well, those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.